Okay, let's get to part two of how to update the MLB algorithm when it comes to the end of the day and running the macro and taking a look at what the best combinations were and kind of how do you revisit this at the end of the day when all the scores are over, games are over and scores are in. So let's get into that process right now. So you get the scores and right now I just manually type them in. So whatever the scores are, you put them in this final score column here. And this gives you the results for the day. Could just look at the day pivot sheet to see how we did with the combination that we went with, which was, I believe we went with number 488 was the one I believe that we discussed, not 499, but 488. So we change that to 488 and you can see that the day was, it looks like 8 and 7. Not really a profitable day, but some of the games on top were okay. So that's just the one combination. It looks like we only got 2 out of our 5 underdogs, 2 out of our 6 underdogs. So it's not a very good day with this combination string, actually. But let's look at it with all the combination strings. So the way to do that is going to be by creating all these records in the T cube sheet. I've already run the macro, but normally you would clear out whatever's here. You would clear the contents of this, and you would go view macro, run, and you're going to run this macro. We don't need to do that though, because I already ran it. It takes about 5 minutes because there's 500 combinations in here. So I put all the data back in here. Once you've run the macro, which we did not do, but assume we did because we did do it actually. So it's here. Now you go to the T cube pivot sheet and you just press right click inside of it and choose refresh. You can see that there were some combinations that did better today. That you just click win here and it shows you all the combinations and how many games they won. All right. And what's cool about this is it's now connected to the combo sheet. So we now have a list right here of all the combinations. These are all the combination strings. Remember I said we went with 488. That was this one that had 8 wins. Well, other ones did better. And you can see them on top. Well, let's take a look. Let's sort descending. And you get to see them on top. Just pitcher whip and just starting pitcher ERA. Both did better. Again, pitcher whip does an 11 wins. Amazing. What does that look like? Go back into the matchup sheet and do combo number 2, which is pitcher whip, and then go to the day pivot. You can see what it was. This is the day hitting the top 6 games, Tampa Bay still being on top. So these powers are all screwed up because you're only looking at whip, which is really weird to just basically look at only one factor. But it did seem to be the most determining factor of the day. It's amazing, right? So what I would say is, well, now we're trying to figure out what are we going to go with tomorrow? Well, something that has a lot of whip, a lot of ERA, some lineup factor, and some BABIP. You can see this is one that I believe I just created on my own the other day. And that's kind of amazing that one goes 10. That one goes 10. That's pretty cool. So I would say let's go with this one for tomorrow. These other ones did okay. You can see some of these, this ends up being the 4-8 best. And these other ones were second best. 4-8 second best. And also some of them were 4-7. So this was actually 4-8 and 4-7. These two. So there's something going on with these combinations as well. But I guess we'll just go with this one that I made, just yesterday. So remember making this one right here. Combo number 148. Combo number 148, just to see how that would have done completely on the day for Saturday. Put it in there. Go back to day pivot. And this is what it looked like. You have the Dodgers losing. Cleveland loses a close one. Atlanta wasn't really close today. But it is profitable, this distribution. So we'll go with that one tomorrow. Now, how do we get tomorrow's games in here, being Sunday? Well, we go to the odds sheet. We're going to clear out the odds sheet. I already ran the export for the odds for the day on RotoWire, which I talked about in video number 1. We're going to copy this information. We're going to paste it, match destination formatting right here. We have 15 games. Okay, now let's go to our matchup sheet. Do we have 15 games set up? Yes, we do. Do we have pitchers all working? We do, except for one, Dylan Dodd. Let's go see what the situation is with Dylan Dodd. Let's look in our pitcher sheet and see if we have him. We have him in both 2023 and we have him here with AA stats. So let's go with his 2023 stats. Even though it's only one start, it's still a major league stat. So we're going to go with that. I know it's only 5 innings, but apparently he pitched pretty well. So now we have all pitchers in here. Great. We're getting a nice preliminary look at tomorrow before all the stats are ready. We just need lineups. All the lineups are 0. How do we get the lineups? We go to RotoWire. We go to lineups. You click tomorrow. If you're looking at this the day before, this will be Sunday's games. Control A, Control C. Go back to the lineup sheet, clear out this area, and paste the new lineups. And then choose refresh. And now we get to scroll to see if we have any lineup errors anywhere. I'm looking for any errors over here. Things are looking pretty good. And it looks like all the lineups are fine. Although there is an abbreviated name, Anthony DeSclafani, and I'll show you how I know that's not going to work. Go back to the matchup sheet. Look at the lineup factors. Do you see a 0 anywhere? Oops, there's one. That's Anthony DeSclafani. So the way to fix this is we've got to type over that period and type his name correctly. And that name will match his pitcher name. And now there's a lineup factor for San Francisco. So we've now got to look at combo number 108 or 148. We go to the day pivot. We refresh. And one more thing we need to do. Let's clear out the scores. These are not the scores for Sunday's games. Those are scores for Saturday's games. Now we refresh. And now we get the order. It says, look, it says a bunch of underdogs up here. Miami, Cleveland. Tampa Bay is not an underdog. But Detroit, Arizona, we've got 5 underdogs on this list. And this is the order. And this is what you got. And that is how you run the macro, compare it, by creating this T-Cube database, refreshing the T-Cube pivot, taking a look at your combos and sorting them, and then figuring out what combo you want to use for the new day, which we're going with 148 because it was the best one from Saturday. Well, really what we're learning here is we're learning that WHIP and ERA and somewhat lineup factor are really huge, but these two seem to be really, really relevant. And WHIP and ERA having a significant amount here are doing good things for predicting games, as well as BABIP. I think BABIP should also be included in there. But bullpen ERA, average runs per game, average runs allowed, and innings per start are really not doing too many great things and can kind of be not really used as much. So that's part 2. That's how you kind of update this thing from start to finish. If you watch part 1's video and then the second video about running the macro, you can start to get in the cycle of preparing this for the day. Because when you get all the stats for the day, you're still going to want to go through all these other sheets that I talked about in the other video and update all of them. All right. So good luck, everybody. Look who picks one today, and I hope they win tomorrow. You can purchase a copy of this. Follow the link in the description. You can buy the one-time copy. Start updating it yourself every day, because you're not going to see me doing this after April 10th. That's going to be it. All right. Good luck. May all your picks be winning.